Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, usually joined here by Jeff Torrey. Jeff is on vacation this week in sunny California, so he's not going to make it to the waiver wire show. And I don't blame him for not making it to this waiver wire show. Not a lot out there on the waiver wire looking for week 3. So let's just jump into it. First off, I'm going to bring up the top waiver wire pickup. If you're, let's say on Yahoo, if you're playing on Yahoo, it's Garrett Wilson. He's only owned in about 21% of leagues on Yahoo for some reason. But if you jump over to ESPN, he's owned in over 60%. So our list is usually 50% and under players. We usually use ESPN for that list. But if you're playing on ESPN, Garrett Wilson might be there. Most likely he's not. On Yahoo, for some reason he is. So 21% owned on Yahoo. If he is available, 100% go get Garrett Wilson. And that's where really stuff's going to change based on that in this list, because a couple guys that might be available on Yahoo leagues are definitely not available on ESPN leagues. Jahan Dotson would be a candidate as well. He's owned in only 43% of leagues on Yahoo, but he's well over that on ESPN, so he's not available for you on ESPN. So if Wilson and Dotson were out there, those would be my top 2 pickups for sure. Garrett Wilson, Jahan Dotson, go get them if you're in a league that they're available in. If not, and you're on ESPN and there's not much to go off of, here's some of the players. At running back, it's honestly not great. There's Eno Benjamin, possibly Darrell Williams. We don't know exactly the extent of James Conner's injury. I don't believe it's going to be too much. So it's really, if you're looking at FAAB budget here on these guys, not much at all of anything you want to put on these guys at all. If you're talking Garrett Wilson, that's a bigger deal. That's maybe more of like a 20% FAAB type deal, I would say. I really believe in Garrett Wilson. So he's more maybe of a 20%, but I don't see more than like a 20% guy here than Garrett Wilson. Everybody else is like bare minimum type players. You got the Eno Benjamins, the Darrell Williams. At running back, it's real weak after that. It's bare bones. Tyler Algiere played. He was inactive in week 1, played in week 2, had 10 carries, but he didn't do anything with those 10 carries. Turned it into 30 yards. Can't really recommend him very heavily here at all. Jordan Mason for the Niners could be interesting. Tyrion Davis-Price is now out for 4 to 6 weeks as well with a high ankle sprain. Eli Mitchell's already out. So it's just Jeff Wilson there. And like the 49ers like to play multiple backs. Jordan Mason most likely should be the guy there. He should come in. And I believe Jordan Mason, he's probably worth a pickup. Again, minimal amount of money. If you're playing Jeff Wilson, maybe go get Jordan Mason too. It's kind of, you have a bunch of mediocre 49ers backs, but Jordan Mason could be the guy. And honestly, if you have a deep bench and you have room for this, Brian Robinson, it looks like he's going to come back at some point in the next month to 2 months, right? And Antonio Gibson didn't look good to me at all. It's kind of what I thought Antonio Gibson might be, and he's just not getting it done. Brian Robinson, if you have a spot to stash him on the bench, maybe go ahead and do that. At wide receiver, Joshua Palmer, that could be a solid add. I like the player. When Keenan Allen's back, though, he's the 3rd there, but Joshua Palmer could be, a good player in the future. Again, there's not much here unless Garrett Wilson or Jahan Dotson's out there for you. Nico Collins got 9 targets last week. He's interesting as well, but he plays for the Texans. Not a great situation there. Noah Brown, he's had a couple good games for the Cowboys. Problem is, he's actually outpaced CeeDee Lamb so far, but Michael Gallup will be coming back at some point, and that will eat into that. But if you need a guy for next week, Noah Brown, it's not. There's worse options. I think that could be an interesting ad for you. To be honest, I don't really have much at tight end. Tight end is a terrible position in fantasy this year. 50% and under guys, David Njoku, maybe. He still doesn't ever do it, right? He had 3 catches for 32. He should have had a touchdown, didn't happen. Irv Smith. Okay, Irv Smith definitely looked decent Monday night, 5 catches, 36 yards. He got the touchdown. He made a nice 3rd down conversion as well, but he also dropped what could have been a touchdown, a big touchdown. He just dropped it. but he's involved. He had 8 targets. So Irv Smith, definitely an interesting player there. If you're going streaming QB, week 3 streaming QB, if you're looking around, let's say, there's a couple guys out there, that have been playing well. Carson Wentz could be a streaming option. He's at 56% owned, but that definitely means he could be available. He's playing Philadelphia, who just, shut down Kirk Cousins, but that's Kirk Cousins on Monday night. But Carson Wentz, maybe not the best streaming option this week, but he's put together 2 great games. But the one I do like is Jared Goff. Jared Goff, he's thrown 6 touchdowns so far in his 2 games, and he's going to be going against Minnesota, who just let Jalen Hurts throw the ball wherever he wanted. So I like Jared Goff if you need a streaming QB option for week 3. If we're looking defense, I haven't looked at defense too heavily yet, but it depends on what's out there. I don't always hold steady to the 50% in defense if you're looking for them. Let's say the Cowboys are out there at 64%. They were dropped in 11% of leagues last week, but they have played pretty well against 2 decent defenses so far, offenses in Tampa and Cincinnati, and they have coming up the Giants this week and then Washington. So let's say the Cowboys are out there. I think that could be a very, very solid option for you to pick up if they happen to be available for you. Some others, Chiefs are down there, but they get the Colts this week. So, hey, Colts have been doing nothing. Chiefs are rostered in only, looks like 3.3% of leagues. Yeah, so Chiefs definitely could be an option this upcoming week. Eagles, after what the Eagles we just said did, they're rostered in 20% of leagues, playing against Washington. And yeah, those couple of decent options there for you. Chargers are owned in 49.2% of leagues, playing against Jacksonville. And even the Browns, Pittsburgh hasn't done much on offense. The Browns here rostered at 55% of leagues going against Pittsburgh. That could be a good one as well. But there we go. Waiver wire week 3. Unless Garrett Wilson's available in your league, this is not the week to be spending money. So go with your FAAB budget. Don't spend big money unless you want to go 20% or so on Garrett Wilson. The problem is he's still a New York Jet. It's Joe Flacco throwing the ball right now, which seems like it's working. But when Zach Wilson gets there, will it be that? I don't know. So don't go spend all your money on a wide receiver that had one good game. But that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.